Welcome everyone to Building a Better Cadence UI. My name is Justin Muller. I'm a senior software engineer at Uber. Today I'll just be walking through some of the Cadence UI improvements that we've been doing over time. And we'll walk through each feature and what they mean and how you can take advantage of those features. So first up, we've got improvement to workflow search. Now we allow users to search by a date-time range. So you can select your date up until if it's for open workflows, it'll be forever. For closed workflows, it'll be to your workflow retention date. And then you can also select a time, and then that will limit the results within that time period. Next up, we've got workflow archival. So if you're running an S3 AWS instance, you can set up a archival storage system, which then Cadence can connect to and start storing workflows for a much longer time period to your workflow retention period. So it just gives customers a way of accessing workflows that have dropped off. And next up, we've got feature flags. So for Cadence UI, you can configure the UI in many different ways and turn on and off different features via the feature flag system. Okay, and then next up, just like a general usability improvement is a date time format. In the general settings menu, you can then access the date time formatting and either do a 12 or 24-hour time format, or whether you want to display local time zone or UTC time zone. Here you can see from a workflow history screen, you can toggle on the graph feature, which allows you to see a DAG of your workflow and all of the different decision points that it takes. You can navigate to children workflow from this screen and parent workflows and so on. So it's just more of a navigational feature. And then next up, we've got from the history screen again, we've got a pending task here. So in the past, users have been asking questions about why does it look like my activity hasn't made any progress, or it's just not running, right? And the reason being is normally these activities are in what's called a pending state. So they may have actually either scheduled or started. So you can see on the pending tab here, you'll be able to see any pending activities and their state and whether they've been scheduled or started, or if they're in a retry session. And then they will appear onto the history tab once they complete. And then we've got a workflow search improvement, which allows users to filter based on whether a workflow is a Cron workflow, or if it's not a Cron workflow, it will filter via that. And then for our a lot of usability issues for first-time Cadence users is they may not know the full name of their domain, or they forget what it is. So now we've given users a domain autocomplete, so you'll be able to type out a partial string of your domain, and Cadence will return you a list of matching Cadence domains that you can select from. And one of our most recent features that we just launched, I think last week, is cross-region support. So this is for Cadence clusters that are in an active passive mode. So you'll have a global domain, which is active in one data center and passive in a secondary data center. Now you'll be able to, per domain, access the current active region. So remember, domains can be failed over to different data centers independent of each domain. So now we'll be presented the active domain when we land on the workflow search screen, but we also give the option to switch to the passive region. And it will also display multiple passive regions if you've got more than 2 clusters. So that's kind of it for today. And we'll have Q&A about any of those. So over to Long.